Hi, this is Rohrich. Welcome back to Rohrich Nose in Dallas, Texas, helping you become a better you. So let's talk about eyelid. Eyelids are the key to your soul. I mean, when you look at somebody, you look at their eyes, their nose, and their lips, but you always look at their eyes first. So isn't it important that when you look at somebody's eyes, they look as youthful as you think they should, and proportion to their age? Well, let's take a deep dive in that. And so let's talk about eyelid surgery and what really makes someone's eyelid surgery better or different. And this is Renee Zellweger, and she had some eyelid surgery done, and she looks good on the right, and I think but it did transform her. It changed her to somebody that was a little different. And why is that look? Because she always had kind of those full eyes that were really a little bit droopy, even at a young age, and that was removed when she had eyelid surgery. And yet that was her persona, and you can see that in her even at a young age, that she had that full eyelid look, and that really was who and what she was as an actress. So just because you can does not mean you should, in this case, take out probably a little bit more skin than you probably needed to. And you see that the same thing in Demi Moore, you know, when you have full eyelids and then you remove that, and of course Demi's had more than just eyelid surgery. But when you take somebody who's older and you reshape them, the cardinal thing to look for is, do you keep fullness? And one of the major things we've learned, at least in plastic surgery, is that youthfulness is fullness in the eyelids. And for years, we would remove fat in somebody that was youthful like this and make them look older. And the other thing is, you want to blend the eyelid and cheek junction. So when you take somebody that looks old and you blend them and shape them, you can transform them just by doing something with their eyelid and adding fat around their cheek just to give them a more youthful look. And so again, when you take somebody that really was older and you transform them, you can really make them look 10, 15 years younger. And that's really what you see in this patient. And so why do we do that? And how do we restore that and make it look youthful and natural? Well, the key is you want to blend the eyelid and cheek junction. And so any eyelid surgery is not just about the eyelid, it's about blending that eyelid and cheek junction. And we've talked about that scientifically in our journal, the Journal of Plastic and Reconstructive Surgery. These are landmark type of thoughts and articles that really help to transform everything in plastic surgery. You can see somebody who's actually taken on the left, who's really got some early signs of aging and really transformed her by just adding and reshaping her lower eyelid and adding fat to her lower eyelid. And that's the power of reshaping someone who's got early aging, and that's loss of facial fat. So when you take somebody that has, you've just done their eyelids and you don't add fat to their face, they look okay, but something's missing. The missing link here is facial fat. And so you want to reshape and restore their lower eyelid and their cheek, make them look youthful. And that's the beauty of facial rejuvenation, if you understand eyelid surgery and facial aging. And in facial aging, it's not only the placement of the fat, but where you can take it and where you can remove it. And in the eyelid, as we age, the lower fat bulges out of our eyelids, but we need to remove it and then we need to replace it along the tear trough area. So you can see in a patient like this, you can rejuvenate their eyes and their brow with the use and power of fat along with surgery. And I think that's the beauty of it. And so when we look at the changing concepts in facial rejuvenation, the goal is less is more, because the power of changing somebody's eyes in a youthful manner is very, very important. But if you change it and alter it significantly, you make them look abnormal. So we want to preserve the muscle, preserve as much skin as possible, restore the shape and power of that youthful look. And that all comes down to blending and the eyelid cheek junction. And again, we've talked about that in the use of how we use our own fat, the best filler of all, and taking that in what we call the five-step lower blepharoplasty, where you're adding fat to the cheek, you're taking fat out, addition, subtraction, and then you're also going to lift the lower lateral eyelid, because as we age, our eyelids sag, and then we remove any extra skin and we soften it, really. And then we also blend this eyelid and cheek junction. So that's really what we want to do in almost every blepharoplasty, and give it a natural look. You know, the sign of beautiful plastic surgery is elegance of not knowing. And elegance of not knowing allows you to restore a youthful eyelid and a face. And I think that also requires that you understand facial aging and also the power of how to analyze that patient, how to analyze that patient's entire face. So when you have somebody like this, you can see where her fat is and where her eyelid tear troughs are, and you can examine that, and you need to do that before surgery, because then it allows you to exactly monitor and mark precisely where the fat is and where you're going to take it, and also where you're going to restore it and replace it. And this is all part of the precision of preoperative planning, then allowing you in the operating room to execute that plan. This is a time when you do that and you do it well. And I think you cannot overemphasize that. So addition, subtraction, adding fat in the deep malar fat compartments, and then placing the fat in these tear trough areas in the way I mentioned it, in the 5-step technique, and then putting it in the deep malar compartment, and then adding it in this area is very, very powerful. And when you do that, you can reshape and restore the area of the fat that's been lost by aging. And this is really one of the secrets of reshaping the eyelid, is that you're adding fat into the deep area of the face and shaping it. And you can see the power and beauty of doing that in someone in rejuvenating their face. So when you're doing that, you're adding fat, you're restoring it. And then in this case, you're also not only taking out the fat in the eyelid, but you're adding fat in the orbital rim area. And I think that's the beauty and power of a blepharoplasty that really isn't a blepharoplasty itself anymore, but it's really, you're doing addition, subtraction. You're taking fat out where you ordinarily would do it, but you're taking it out inside the eyelid because you want to preserve that orbicularis, that muscle in that area. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. We're preserving it, we're restoring it, and we're taking out the upper eyelid, extra skin, and then we place in the globe protector to shape it, and then allows you then to proceed with your 5-step lower lip blepharoplasty. And then you're also then you're putting in the fat in the deep malar compartment, and that's very powerful. And you're putting it in such a manner that you can actually are filling and shaping that entire area that you're going to restore. Because remember, then you're going to also take out the fat as you marked it preoperatively, and you'll do that again precisely. And then you take it out by preserving the muscle. You preserve the muscle in that area, and then what you do you take it out inside the eyelid, so you're preserving the muscle, and you're shaping it and taking exactly the amount of fat that you want. And that's the beauty of doing it by a low-level cautery, and you're seeing the fat precisely that you're going to remove, and you reshape it and restore it. And I think you can't overemphasize that when you do that, you're going to do that very, very meticulously and carefully, so that when you take it out, you're only going to take a small amount of fat out. That's the subtraction part, where you're going to really see and shape and take out that fat that's popping out there, and just softening it and then removing it very, very carefully. And that's the beauty of a 5-step lower lip blepharoplasty, where you're really, not only have you added fat to the cheek, but now you're taking fat out. This is the subtraction part. And then when you do that, then that allows you then to blend the eyelid cheek junction a little better, and you're taking it out centrally, medially, and laterally. And then you're going to also add an anti-inflammatory agent here. This happens to be a little Kenalog, and you're softening it. And then you're going to do a procedure where you're going to be elevating and tightening that lower canthal area, because the sign of a youthful eyelid is not only that, but you're also going to be lifting the eyelid, and in this case, you're going to be getting that open and giving you a nice lateral supratarsal fold. In this case, part of the muscle is gently removed, and then you're going to add a suture in that area that will help elevate it. So this is all part of that procedure, where you're really elevating and shaping the lower eyelid. So you've now taken the fat out, you've added fat in the cheek. Now you're going to be elevating the lower lateral canthal area, and you're bringing that area up. And I think that is the beauty of harnessing the power of your understanding of aging, because as we age, our outer part of our eyelid sags in fairly. So you must restore and reshape to give you a youthful result. And that's really what you're doing here in this patient. You're restoring and reshaping this very, very nicely. And I think that's very, very powerful in this way. And when you do that, you can then restore and reshape the entire eye. And when you suture that into place, that gives you a youthful eyelid. So that's the next step of that, and then you're going to be restoring it. And this actually is a very powerful suture that is temporizing in this area. And then you're going to gently remove a small amount of skin in that area. And really, this is a skin pinch removal. And so that redundant skin is then removed in this area, and right below the lash line that can be easily almost closed so that within weeks you won't be able to see that incision at all. And the key in lower blepharoplasty is less is more. And then this is the addition. You've taken the subtraction out, and now you're going to add fat. And in this case, this is called fractionated fat. You're taking a small amount of fat, and you're going to make it much smaller by putting it into this mesh, where you're really going to make it smaller fractionated fat, and you're going to blend the eyelid cheek junction. And that's really what you're doing. And this is the type 5, the step 5, where you're really adding the fat in this area, and you're going to be putting it along, and you're going to be releasing the orbitomalar retaining ligament. And we do that through a lateral approach, and then you will see how we blend the eyelid cheek junction. So you've taken fat out, you're now adding fat at the orbital rim, and you're going to be shaping it in that area. So that really, in a nutshell, shows you the art of reshaping and restoring with the science of aging and understanding how people age. So when you see that, you can see this is the type of results you can get. You can get a blending of the eyelid cheek junction, you can soften the lower eyelid, and you can get a natural looking eyelid that's youthful but larger and softer. And I think you can see that in the pre and the post-op here, where you're getting a nice correction of the tear trough areas and all of these. And this is a very dramatic case where we did that in a patient where we added a significant amount of fat in the tear trough area and also in the malar area, where you can see how you really shaped and restored this significantly in a long-term result. And you can really reshape someone and give them a more youthful facial appearance in these types of patients. So in summary, the eyelid is the key to not only facial aging, but also in facial aging rejuvenation. Because in these types of patients, when you look at their tear troughs and you can see that early signs of aging, if you can correct that by modestly removing the skin of the upper eyelid and then reshaping their lower eyelid and adding fat, that's the beauty of understanding facial aging. And you certainly can do that in patients like this, where you've applied all those principles of addition, subtraction, and facial rejuvenation. So the eyelids, again, are the key to shaping the face and giving a long-term look that looks beautiful and matching. And you can see that time and time again in these types of patients, where you're rejuvenating the eyelid, you're shaping the eyelid, and you're giving it a youthful look. And that's really what you want in these types of patients. So I would tell you that when you are looking and analyzing somebody's face, or you want to undergo facial rejuvenation, find a plastic surgeon or oculoplastic surgeon or a facial plastic surgeon that understands how you age, and it wants to give you a natural, youthful, not overdone look, because we are in the face protection, not witness protection program in plastic surgery. And so many times I see people that we don't know who they are, and that's not a good look. So you want to give them the ability to turn the clock back 10 years or 15 years, but certainly you can't go more than that. So the key is less is more. Preserve the muscles, preserve all of the integrity of the globe, and blend that eyelid cheek junction. And I think that is the most powerful thing you can do in facial rejuvenation. And this is only part and parcel of facial rejuvenation, but the eyelid and eyelid cheek junction rejuvenation is the cornerstone for having a magnificent result in facelift and facial rejuvenation surgery. So give me your comments, give me your thoughts, tell me what you think, and see, and I'll reply to them on all my social media channels, especially on YouTube. And thank you again for helping you understand the science of aging and helping you become a better you.